Now, the EFF in Gauteng has welcomed Ngodwana's election. The party's chairperson, Ekurhuleni Mayor says they're committed to supporting a stable government in the city.
We are happy, and yes, we will be engaging with all political organizations because we understand that this is a government or a governance of minorities who form part of a majority. You would have seen that the election outcome was over 120 plus in terms of the support base. It's going to require a lot of engagements across caucuses. It's going to require extensive relations and continuous relations, that is, amongst ourselves as political organizations that are like-minded. And we see the element of being like-minded because we could approach this particular council sitting in a unified and in a unison way and coming out with a favorable outcome for all of us as organizations. So yes, we are of the firm belief that we'll get it right and that the executive as well will be a true reflection of the cooperative stance that we are going to take moving forward and the sustainability thereof. So unless you do something extremely drastic for us to remove you, Mayor, be rest assured that you've got our support as we make a reaffirmation and a commitment to a stable government.
All right, so that's word from the EFF. Let's continue with our reaction. Get the ANC's take on the story. Let's bring in Gauteng spokesperson Lesego Makhubela live to us in studio early this Friday morning. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for making the journey to come through and chat to us. So the ANC and in part the EFF has for a long time saying that part of the reason why Tania Campbell has been ousted for the second time, by the way, is because of service delivery and the deteriorating state of Ekurhuleni. But there are people who are saying there's more to it than that. It's a lesson to the DA. What's your response?
No, thank you very much. Coalitions are chaotic by their own nature, and they are very chaotic, especially when they are led by the DA. So there's now enough evidence that suggests that wherever the DA governs, it collapses everything. They inherited a smooth, well-running municipality, which was previously led by the ANC between 2016 and 2021, with a budget surplus. And now when Tania Campbell leaves, she leaves the city in the red. She leaves it with finances crumbling. She leaves it with services not reaching the people in historically black townships. You saw not long ago there were some serious protests in Tembisa, where she even refused to go and meet with the residents and engage with them. She has not been to any of our townships and all sorts of things. And that's why we've had to come together with all parties represented in that particular council and ensure that we restart service delivery by ousting her and her party and ensuring that the DA and its overflow facility for black leaders, Action SA, are out of that municipality. And this municipality is then taken back to the will of the people.
Yeah, I can almost hear the DA supporters pointing all of us to the Western Cape, saying, well, they've been in charge there for quite some time.
They must also point us to Khayelitsha. They must point us to Gugulethu. They must point us where African and colored people live. They must point us there, not affluent Cape Town suburbs. They must point us where Africans are living, where they live in dire conditions of squalor, where they do not have ablution facilities, where they are totally neglected by that racist government. They must not just point us where in town where you and I go. No, they must point us where our people live, in the Cape Flats, in colored areas, in black townships.
Sure. The suggestion, I hope, is not that Ekurhuleni was a land of milk and honey before the DA took up the mayoral position,
It actually was.
Oh, really? So there were no challenges in Ekurhuleni before the DA took over?
Actually, independent researchers, I forget the name of that incredible independent researchers, which actually the life survey report came out and said that the life survey report says that Ekurhuleni under the ANC Mayor Mzwandile Masina, the quality of life was actually above all the other municipalities in this country. The Auditor General statement also pointed a good picture with good audit outcomes, service delivery with projects that were started and completed on time, in budget, houses that were given to the people, the provision of services to all historically black townships, and a lot of work that we have done. We were actually on our way to actually build the first university in that particular city.
Okay, but let's not be disingenuous. The area and the municipality itself had its challenges. I mean, if we were to make a call now to people living in Ekurhuleni who've lived there for decades to tell us whether they've had any service delivery challenges before the DA took over, you're suggesting their answer would be an unequivocal no.
But it was a living hell under the DA.
Yeah, no, and both things can be true at the same time.
Our people understood that where they come from and where they were. Where we found the city of Ekurhuleni in different smaller municipalities under apartheid, the townships that we have built, the new establishment that we have built, the provision of roads. In Gauteng today, my brother, if you are to drive anywhere in Gauteng, if you hit a pothole, you will be hitting it in a municipal road. But if you drive in where we are governing, in the provincial road, you will never hit any pothole. So now if you enter into the city of Ekurhuleni, they failed to start maintaining roads. You had mayors that have not even entered into any townships. You can even go to Tshwane, for instance. The people of Tshwane, to this day, they say to us, we yearn for the days of the ANC-led government under Dr. Sputla Ramukupa. Yes, they tell us that. Because now they are aware, something you are under-reporting. They are aware that an international body, credit rating agency, comes to the city of Tshwane and actually downgraded it to junk status in 2021. The Auditor General says about the city of Tshwane, you are actually 30 billion in the red. You are unable to explain 10 billion. It becomes underreported.
Okay, I've given you a moment. I have to ask my question. Yeah. You're speaking about what we are underreporting, and I think this is such a lost opportunity for you to concede certain things to your benefit, actually.
Yeah.
For you to come here and try paint a rosy picture as if there were no issues, even in Tshwane. We've reported for years on issues in Hammanskraal, where people have struggled with clean drinking water. For years, and even during the time of the ANC. I'm not saying that the DA is coming out of this smelling like a bed of roses, but I think what the electorate can see past is the mudslinging that takes place, where you appear to want to attach all that is dysfunctional to your opponents. And that too, I think, is just not fair, especially if these coalitions are going to work.
Well, you are now making false statements. The first statement, you are saying that in Hammanskraal there was no quality clean drinking water. The water treatment in Hammanskraal under the ANC worked. It stopped working in 2017. There were no challenges of water in Hammanskraal. They started when the DA took over, because the DA could not tell the white farmers around Hammanskraal who were connecting to the water purification plant and eventually broke it. Who voted for Freedom Front Plus? The DA needs the vote of Freedom Front Plus, and there were no such challenges. I'm not painting a rosy picture. I'm saying to you, under the ANC government, all these three metros, you can go to their audit outcomes. You can ask yourself, how did we leave Tshwane when we were taken out in 2016? There was a budget surplus. Look at now. Look at the deep hole that it finds itself. How did we leave Johannesburg when we were removed in 2016? There was a budget surplus. Look at the audit outcomes. Look at what we were building. All these the small cities that were never there. There were townships that never existed. We built those townships from the ground up. Whether you go to Oliven, whether you go to Cosmo City, whether you go to the roads that we've built.
So the ANC is proud of building townships. That's not necessarily a thing you'd point as an achievement.
We are proud of building sustainable human settlements, where we ensured when we took over in 1995 of all these municipalities that we tarred every square mile of all the historically black townships. We've done that. And we've ensured that we've expanded our roads, we provide services to our people, and we ensure that the economies in those townships are thriving. Because what you are not understanding, which is simple, is that when a municipality collapses, like the municipality in Ekurhuleni, when it collapses, it has an adverse effect even on business, because small black enterprises collapse because they are not paid on time by these municipalities.
Right.
We had businesses marching to the premises of the city of Ekurhuleni, saying that we are rendering services and every time we are not paid for 6 months. We've had to retrench workers. We actually ended up having to ensure that we close the doors to our companies.
All right, I hear you. Sorry to interrupt you. Just watching the clock with one eye. Pangeza Lesufi is worried about stability. I'm sure it's a sentiment that you also share. Okay, the DA is out now. Does that mean those problems are over?
No, it means that now we have to fix the financial challenges that the city is facing. It's in the red, as we have said. It means that now we can be able to also work as the provincial government. The provincial government finds it very difficult to work if the inter-government relations between the province and the cities have completely collapsed. It means that now we'll have a caring government that will be able to listen to the people and ensure that it implements IDP plans and provides services. That's what it essentially means, which are things that never happened.
Lesego Makhubela, doing your part, I suppose, to speak for the ANC in Gauteng.
Speaking facts.
Look, I think there is a lot to be read into the interpretation of some of what you've said, but nonetheless, I'm sure there'll be a lot to be unpacked, especially as we lead up to 2024. Let me have the last word. Lesego Makhubela. Thanks for coming through. He's the spokesperson of the ANC.